Hey guys, this is going to be a reading for the last lunar cycle of the Tibetan year of the metal ox. It was also a metal ox month. So this is going to be a reading. I'm going to start doing the readings based on lunar cycles instead of just Monday through Sunday. Because the lunar cycles affect us quite a bit, especially they affect me quite a bit, and I follow them and study them, and so I've decided I'm going to start doing my readings like that, and I'm going to continue doing readings where each sign gets its own video, of course. But for this week, I kind of also, because I'm lagging because I was sick and everything, and now I'm feeling much better. I have my energy back, but it is the day before this last quarter of the lunar cycle. So I kind of thought that I would try this thing where I actually throw your cards on camera. I haven't done a lot of that because of kind of stage fright stuff, because this is all new to me. But I'm going to give it a try right now. So I was kind of going to give you an update. I'm going to put timestamps down below for everything. After this intro, it'll start with Aries and go from there. I'm going to do the fire signs, then I'll do the earth signs, air signs, and water signs. So let's try to get it all on one video and see what happens. Who knows? I might have to edit a little bit in there. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, this is a reading for January 26th through February 1st, which is the last lunar cycle. The last quarter of this lunar cycle. The new moon is on, looking at my calendar here, on the 31st, Monday the 31st, and the next lunar cycle starts on Wednesday, the February 2nd. So let's get started. All right, we're going to start with Aries. We're going to see how this goes. These are going to be a little short readings, so I think I'm just going to pull a card, past, present, future. I may pull another card to clarify a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Okay, Aries. For the last lunar cycle. Last quarter of the lunar cycle. January 26th through February 1st. Aries. Aries, for the past we have the Eight of Swords, present Eight of Wands, two eights, and then in the future the Hermit. So Aries, you definitely just came from an energy of feeling a little bit victimized, seems like. Presently you've moved into, it seems like you've fast gone out of that energy. So here is the Eight of Swords. I should show you your cards. Also in the future, I'm going to have a face down camera, and figure out how I'm going to edit that. But for now, I will show you the cards. So anyway, Eight of Swords and your past energy for this week. And so it feels like you're moving into this week, kind of coming out of this feeling like you're trapped, but really this person isn't trapped, right? He's trapping himself. He's got like this thing on his head that he really could just go like that. He thinks he's trapped inside something, but he's not. He could walk right out. And so this is a feeling that he put himself into, Aries. And in the present energy, we have the Eight of Wands. And so you're fast moving out of that energy. Something snapped you out of it. And it could have been, Eight of Wands has to do with messages as well, but like quick change. So like a super fast change. It could have had to do with a message that you received. It doesn't have to. In the future, moving into the future of this last quarter of the lunar cycle, we have the Hermit. And I mean, this definitely has to do with that change. It snapped you out of something, and now you're going into that hermit mode, and you've moved into a place where you don't feel victimized, or you've moved into a place where you realize you were victimizing yourself, and that isn't helpful. So now you're actually looking for real answers within yourself. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to clarify this week. I'm just going to get through this long video of all of you guys and just give you quick little readings. So that's what I have for you, Aries. Thank you very much. Moving on to Leo. Hello, Leo. Leo. All right, Leo, this is your reading for January 26th through 1st, which is a lunar cycle. Everyone else kind of does Monday through Sunday. I was doing Monday through Sunday. Now I'm going to start doing your readings based on lunar cycles instead. The quarters. I'm going to do them with all the quarters of the lunar cycles. First, second, third, and fourth. All right, Leo, past, present, future for this week for you. This last quarter of the lunar cycle. Wow, we have all court cards for you, Leo. 2 queens and a knight of wands. So in the recent past, we have the Queen of Wands. In the present, we have the Queen of Swords, and in the future, we have the Knight of Wands. So this week, you're coming into it with this energy of the Queen of Wands. And you're still sitting in that queen energy, but you've moved from this empowered feeling of that everyone loves you and everyone looks up to you, and you're, this leading strength, action, energy into more of a, like some boundaries. Like you've added some boundaries. You moved it. You're starting this week with that energy of the queen and a little bit. Like a little bit of a yummier queen, a little more comfortable queen, and then you're staying in that queen energy, but you've and there's no gender here, right? Like we can all embody these, obviously. Gotta say it, right? But anyway, you're moving into just a little bit of a different energy, which is a little bit more, I want to say selfish, a little, but not in a bad way, just because there's boundaries and people might look at you and think you're selfish, but that doesn't mean that you're selfish. It just means you have boundaries and they don't like that. And then all court cards, Leo, which also could very well mean that there's a lot of people that are affecting your energy this week. And it's not that they're affecting your energy, you let them affect your energy, right? Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. It feels collaborative, but it also feels, it's interesting. So you come into the week with the Queen of Wands energy, and you end it with the Knight of Wands energy, which is a little bit of a backspin. It almost feels like you took that Queen energy, you got a little bit bitey with it, and then you kind of got a little immature. And you ended the week with a little bit less mature than when you arrived at this week, Leo. But it's just a different energy. The Queen of, first of all, let's look at them, right? The Queen of Wands she's sitting there. She's not going anywhere. Particularly, she is the queen of like action and fire and stuff like that, technically. But in this reading, it feels more like you weren't doing a lot. You were sitting there in that queen energy, but something lit a fire under your ass, and you end the week with the queen energy, but you're taking it forward. That's what it feels like to me, Leo. And that's what I've got for you, Leo. Nice short little reading this week. They will be longer. You will have your own video following after this. So that's what I have for you, Leo. Moving on to Sagittarius. Hello, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, I'm going to pull 3 cards for you for this week. You'll have your own videos from now on, but this week we're doing it this way. Your timestamp is below. I'm sure that's how you found this part of the video. Anyway, also first time for me doing this, so I might say silly things that I either will have to edit later or whatever. I'll just leave it. So, Sagittarius. There we go. The deck was all silly. I usually have all my decks faced and tight, and some of your cards came out upside down, so that's very interesting. Anyway, Sagittarius. We have the King of Swords, the Five of Swords, and Fortune. With the Wheel of Fortune. In this deck, they just call it Fortune. This is the slow tarot, by the way. So, Sagittarius. It feels like, I want to say this King of Swords is you, but you're moving into this week with this energy, the King of Swords energy, which is good. The King of Swords, it's funny, I just did Leo, and Leo had some boundary things going on in Leo's reading. But it seems this feels like boundaries as well. Like you're moving into this week with like you just went through something where you had to communicate. You're like, look, you guys, this is how I'm feeling. This is what's going on. These are my boundaries. Like you had to talk to somebody about this, or people, or multiple people. I don't know. But you moved into this week with that energy. Presently, you're feeling a little bit defeated. This energy could go both ways as well. But you could also be making someone else feel this way, but it feels a little bit more like you're feeling defeated, like you had to say something, and then after that you're just kind of like, you know what, whatever, if you don't understand, fine, just whatever, guys. I'm sticking to my boundaries. You don't like it, whatever. And it feels a little bit defeated to you, but it also it feels a little bit of a relief, kind of. And then you're going to finish off this week. You're going to move into this Wheel of Fortune energy. And this it feels like, because you spoke your truth, because you needed to communicate what you needed to communicate, that, you're going to be, it almost feels like you're going to be rewarded, like the universe is going to reward you. But it also the Wheel of Fortune also has to do with patterns, right? And karma sometimes. So it also could be a reminder that not to let a pattern, to watch out for a pattern of really having to have boundaries and not letting them go, and not letting, and not feeling defeated, but actually like sticking with this energy, sticking with the boundary energy. I'm going to leave it there, Leo. That's what I have for you this week. I'm sorry, not Leo. I apologize. That was for Sagittarius. That was all Sagittarius. Apologies for the slip. Thank you, Sagittarius. Okay, moving on to Taurus. All right, Taurus, I'm going to pull a past, present, future card. Going to be short readings this week. You will have your own videos from now on. But I wanted to try this week because I'm a little behind. I was really sick, and I want to make sure that I got all of these videos out this week. So, Taurus. Hello, Taurus. All right, Taurus. Taurus, we have the Ten of Cups, the Nine of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. So moving into this week, you're coming in with that energy of the Ten of Cups. You're feeling pretty good. You feel like you are either feeling pretty good about a wish that is that is kind of your dream come true. Like you either think you feel pretty good about it happening one day, or it happening now, or you're just living this life now and you really feel this way now. This, I have everything. I have my family, I have the house, I have, or whatever that is for you. It's just an energy. Not everybody wants to live in a house and have kids. So whatever that feeling, that yummy feeling of like, ooh, I feel so good in my home. You're moving into this week with that energy. And then we have the Nine of Wands presently. So you move from that that Ten of Cups into this Nine of Wands energy, and it almost feels like sometimes you feel like, yes, this is attainable, or yes, I have this, and then other times this feels like it's taken a second to get there, or you don't feel as lovely as you wish you did. Sometimes you feel a little beaten up. Sometimes this is the woman who this is the card of like battle worn. Like you've seen some things and done some things, and maybe that's the energy that you're feeling here as well. Maybe you're like, God, was it worth it? Like I feel beat to shit. Like, I don't know if it was worth it. And anyway, this is just the energy that you're bringing with you this week. Doesn't mean that's what's up. It just means it's just an energy that you're feeling. And then you're going to be following that up with the energy of the Ace of Swords. And it just feels like, of course, okay, so what's the Ace of Swords? It's a new opportunity. A lot of times I feel like, a lot of times I see the Ace of Swords and I feel like it has to do with writing, and it's about expressing yourself and communication, and having clarity and being able to see Like something that was bothering you before, the Ace of Swords will come up, and you'll be able to see it. It's not confusing anymore, and you're like, oh, I mean, I can see the path. It's right there. I couldn't see a path before, it was foggy. So anyway, you're moving into that energy towards the end of the week. New moon energy. Totally no new moon energy, Taurus. Absolutely. So anyway, I'm going to leave that there. Short readings this week, no clarifications, and you will have your own videos next week, promise. Moving on to Virgo. All right, Virgo, I'm going to pull a past, present, future card for you for this week. This last quarter of the lunar cycle. Moving into a new moon. Short readings this week, Virgo. You will have your own video next week, promise. All right, Virgo, we have the Hermit, the Four of Wands, and the Ten of Wands for you this week. So moving into your week, you're coming into the week with this Hermit energy, this energy of like you felt like you're moving into this week with that. You definitely went through something last week where you weren't trusting people, and this is just like the feeling that I'm getting, right? And that like you were looking for answers outside of yourself, and you realized that's not where I find answers. And you really had to force yourself to kind of sit by a tree and try to figure that out yourself, do a little meditation, whatever that means for you. But you realize that other people don't have the answer that you were looking for. And so you're just coming into this week with that energy. Moving into, this is the present, the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands, sometimes the Four of Wands, and here it's feeling like that, is like a distraction. Like we distract ourselves with the celebration. Like, look, this person is working. Actually, this is a great card for that energy, this art. You know, she's working. They're both working, but she's working, and she's getting totally distracted by the parade that's going by, and she's like, ooh, what are those guys doing? Maybe I'll leave my work and I'll go hang out with those guys, even though I need this food to eat. And that's sort of what a feeling that I'm getting for you here, Virgo, is that kind of distracted energy. And it's fun, and it's a lot of times it's a celebration, and sometimes it has to do with marriage. Sometimes it has to do with like having a realization of like, oh, I want to do what they're doing. And then it's just like the spark of a new journey. So all of that energy, right? But it feels a little bit distracted, like maybe you're distracting yourself from finishing this going within situation. And then you move into the Ten of Wands. So yeah. So now it feels like to me that you got distracted, and now you have a little bit more work than you would like. If you had just continued, you probably wouldn't have to deal with this work at the end of the week, at the new moon. And the new moon is probably going to force you to drop those somewhere, to either be done with them or to drop them and, you know, do what you got to do for the next lunar cycle. So that's what I have for you, Virgo. Short reading this week. Thank you very much. Moving on to Capricorn. Hello, Capricorn. All right, Capricorn. So I'm going to pull 3 cards for you, past, present, future, for this last quarter of this lunar cycle. And I promise you will have your own video next week. I'm just trying this out this week. Capricorn. All right, Capricorn, we have the Five of Wands, the Nine of Wands, the Queen of Cups. So moving into this week, we have the Five of Wands. And this has to do with competition, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Sometimes it's like conflict and confrontation, but sometimes it's healthy competition, especially with this artist. Like, these are kids, you know, they're playing, but they are practicing. They're playing and they're learning and they're practicing and they're growing, and they're, you know, it's more of like a healthy competition here. And that's the energy that I'm feeling for you, Capricorn, moving into this week. And then we move into the Nine of Wands. And, yeah, I mean, it kind of just feels like whatever this is, the healthy competition, it beats you up a little bit and you're just like, oh my God, that was rough. But it's still, you still learned a lot, and you got some work done, and you got some practice in, however that may be, through other people. Either healthy competition or not, right? Healthy conflict or not. Maybe it was healthy debate, maybe it wasn't. But you feel a little worn, but you still learned something out of it. And that was the present. And the future of this week for you, moving into the new moon, is the Queen of Cups. So whatever that is, it feels like you did learn something through it, and it kind of opened up something inside of you that is very, the Queen of Cups is very intuitive. She's also, she's in control of her emotions, and she, especially in this card, like, she sure is having a good time. This Queen of Cups is funny. This is the slow tarot, but it just feels like you're moving out of whatever that conflict was and moving into a completely new energy with the new moon on the 31st, which is a Monday. And you're moving more into a different kind of week for you, a more intuitive, maybe a little bit more emotional week, which the moon does for us sometimes, right? Okay, that's what I have for you, Capricorn. Thank you very much. Moving on to Gemini. Hello, Gemini. I'm going to pull 3 cards for you this week, Gemini. Short reading. You will have your own video next week. It'll be much more detailed, I promise. So, Gemini. Past, present, future for this upcoming quarter of the lunar cycle for you. Last quarter, moving into the new moon. All right, Gemini, we have the Hanged Man, the 5 of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. All right, moving into this week, we have the Hanged Man. And so you're moving into this week with, especially with that 5 of Swords. I'll show you the 5 of Swords. I feel like these cards kind of go together for you, Gemini. So it feels like you're moving into this week with, this can feel a little bit stagnant, and especially with this card, it feels like a defeat. It feels like you felt like something defeated you, or that something just like was heavy for you this last week, and you kind of was like, dude, whatever, I'm gonna like hang out and just maybe sleep for a couple of days. Like, that one hurt my ego. I'm just gonna hide from the people who hurt my ego for a while. But it also gave you a new perspective. And maybe they didn't even care like about hurting your ego, but it sure hurt your ego. And you're kind of learning that they didn't mean anything by it. And you don't really need to take it so hard. But it's almost like, this feels like a hermit sort of a situation. Like something, whatever the heck happened, it took you down a notch, and you contemplated some stuff, but now you have a new perspective, and you also realize that nobody meant to do that to you, and you don't have to take it so hard. These are just feelings that I'm getting, Gemini. And then you're going to move into the Wheel of Fortune. So I can't remember who else got a similar reading to this, but this for you does feel like, especially with those other cards, it feels like it's asking you to recognize that pattern so that you don't let that happen all the time in the future. Pattern recognition this week of moving into the new moon for you, Gemini. So I would definitely pay attention to those patterns. And, I assume you don't want it to continue happening over and over again. So start recognizing it. That's the practice. The practice is recognizing it. And then eventually, when you really start to recognize it more often, don't do it anymore if you don't want to. Okay, that's what I have for you, Gemini. Short little reading this week. Moving on to Libra. Hello, Libra. I'm going to pull a past, present, future card for you for this week, this last quarter of this lunar cycle, moving into the new moon. Next week, you will have your very own video. It'll be much longer, I promise. Okay, Libra. Let's see what we got there. Wow, we got 3 cards. Okay. They popped out for you. All right, Libra, we have the Two of Swords, the Page of Swords, the Three of Wands. Libra, so here's the Two of Swords. And it's interesting, this just happened to Gemini, but these two cards feel like they go together. Kind of moving into this week and also presently. This feels like, so, you know, this could be, the Two of Swords could just be that you are basically putting blinders on to something that you know you shouldn't. It could also be like your head and your heart at war with each other over something. And this, with this Page of Swords here, with this, it feels kind of immature to me. It feels a little bit like, you know, you're like I know, and I know you know, and you know. You're like, I know, I'm being childish. I just, like, whatever. Okay, I'll stop. That's what this energy feels like. And I'll just, like, leave it there. And then moving, you know, so after you have this little, like, okay, all right, okay, fine. Yeah, I'm being a little childish. Fine, whatever. Then you, once you recognize that, then you can move forward. And so moving into the new moon, moving into the end of this week, is the Three of Swords energy. And in this particular artwork, in this particular card, there's three people on this card, and it's kind of more of a collaboration card than Three of Wands usually is. So it just feels like an energy of like you getting over some immature thing that you know, you're like, I know, stop. And then moving into this Three of Wands energy of, okay, all right, I put my childish shit down. I'll move forward. Okay, I'll take the first step of this thing that I want to do. So, and that's moving into that new moon energy, which is great. That's, you know, what the new moon's for, right? So that's what I have for you, Libra, for this week. Thank you very much. Moving on to Aquarius. Hello, Aquarius. I'm going to pull 3 cards for you, Aquarius, past, present, future. Just a quick little reading for you this week. I promise you will have your very own large video for next week. Okay, Libra, let's do this. All right, Libra, we have Temptation, which is the Devil card. In this deck, it's Temptation. We have Temptation, Death, and the Ace of Coins, which I kind of love. If I'm just looking at these cards and we're not doing past, present, future of the progression of the week, it actually, and that's what it feels like to me. It feels like that's what these cards are for you. No one else has gotten that yet, Aquarius, but that's what it feels like for you. For you, it feels like something that has been a temptation, something that has been maybe not so huge as like an addiction, but just something that you're like, I know I shouldn't be doing this. I know I should be moving forward with something, and I'm totally, it feels like a distraction, like you're allowing yourself to be distracted and procrastinating, and there will be a death of that, just of that energy. Is what it feels like. And so it feels like you're putting an end to that, and you are starting a new project, or you are something new dealing with security, is moving in after you get rid of that distraction this week. And it feels like you're going to get rid of that distraction. It doesn't feel like it's a struggle. It feels like you come to a point where you're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to stop doing that, and I'm going to move into this new shit. I'm going to open my hand up for this opportunity that is going to just be put in my hand. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. It's a short little reading, but it feels pretty straightforward. So that's this week for you, moving into that new moon on the 31st. Thank you, Aquarius. Moving on to Cancer. Hello, Cancer. I'm going to pull 3 cards for you, Cancer. Past, present, future. Although Aquarius just got a reading that it wasn't quite past, present, future. They just all kind of talk to each other, all the cards. So we'll see what happens for you this week, Cancer. Going to be a short little reading, Cancer, and then next week you will have your very own long video, promise. All right, Cancer. Cancer, we have the Six of Swords, the Five of Cups, and the Chariot. It feels like you're moving, I'll show you the cards in a moment, but it feels like you're moving past something that has been really upsetting you. Something that, you know, you spilled your tea and you've been just beating yourself up about it for a while. Or you may have, maybe bigger than that, maybe you lost somebody and you've been grieving. But it feels like you're moving past it. It just feels like you're moving into this, again, these actually feel like they're going together. The Six of Swords and the Five of Cups. So it feels like you're moving past this. It feels like this card is saying, you're moving out of this darkness that you've been kind of allowing yourself to sit in, and you're moving towards the light. And then the Chariot card is just basically like a reiteration of that. It's like, yeah, no, you're moving. And not only, so you come into this week kind of struggling through that and telling yourself, like, the light is right there. Let's go. And then the Chariot is a much more powerful energy of really taking that ship and getting there, getting to the light and getting to your goal, or at least having a goal, when before you were just either depressed or like you didn't even have a goal, but now you have a goal and now you're moving forward into that new moon. So really short reading for you, Cancer, but that's what I have for you this week. So I hope that helped. Moving on to Scorpio. Hello, Scorpio. I'm going to pull 3 cards for you, Scorpio. Past, present, future. Perhaps they'll just talk to each other, the cards. But this is going to be a reading for the January 26th through February 1st, which is the last lunar quarter of this lunar cycle. And also the last lunar quarter of the Tibetan year, moving into the water tiger next month. So, Scorpio, let's see what we have for you. Scorpio, we have the Two of Cups, the Three of Coins, and the Four of Cups. I don't want to say it's a relationship reading. That hasn't come up yet for anybody else, but it feels like it could be. And when I say relationship, I don't necessarily mean love or anything like that. It could be, but it feels like what it feels like actually is business related. And it feels like there's a lot of emotions surrounding it for you, and you're trying to figure out if you made the right decision or not. Because it feels kind of funky to you. Like, it doesn't feel like your heart's in it, whatever this is. And it feels like you're just not sure. So the Two of Cups. So moving into the week, we have the Two of Cups. It feels like, especially with this Three of Coins right after it, feels like a collaboration with you and somebody else doing something, a project or something big, something little. But it feels like you made a decision and you're like, okay, I'll do it with someone. And then, you end up with this Four of Cups where you feel like you're a little either disgruntled about it, or you don't feel like you made the right choice, or it doesn't feel like you feel like you made the wrong choice. It just feels like you wanted it to be something different, and now you're just sort of waiting to find out if it will. It doesn't feel like you've given up or anything, but it does feel like maybe you're bringing emotions from something else into this project, and they should be separate also. So that's what I have for you this week, Scorpio. Nice and short. You will have your own reading next week. Promise it will be large. Much larger than just 3 little cards, I promise. Moving on to Pisces. Pisces. I'm going to pull 3 cards for you, Pisces. Could be past, present, future. They could talk together as one. I do not know yet. We will find out. Next week, you will have your very own video, Pisces. It will be larger with many more cards. But this week, it's going to be just a little short reading. I wanted to try this whole format of timestamps and all of that. So it's a little experiment, and also to try to practice getting rid of my stage fright. So anyway, Pisces. Pisces, we have the Four of Coins, Queen of Cups, and the Two of Swords. So Pisces, for you moving into this week, we have the Four of Coins, and it feels like, so the Four of Coins has to do with the word miser oftentimes like pops up in my head for this card, right? And that's kind of an Osho Zen tarot reference, but it is the miser card for sure. And it just feels like, it almost feels like you're moving into this week with a very particular something that you don't want to let go of. And actually, now that I'm looking and talking, it actually feels like it's not a thing. It actually feels like you're holding on to emotions or an idea. But it feels a little emotional. It feels like you're holding on to something, and it feels like you shouldn't. It feels like you're holding on to something. You don't want to let something go emotionally. It could be a person, like a relationship. It could be like feelings surrounding either that, or it does sort of feel like feelings surrounding another person. You don't want to let those go. You're afraid if you let them go that that'll be it. So anyway, Queen of Cups and the present situation, which is whatever. It's a short week, so all the cards are basically pretty present, right? Yeah, that's I'm getting that strong for you, Pisces. It feels like you just need to let go a little bit of some emotions that you're holding on to, relating to, especially in the artwork in this particular deck. There are two people in this card for you in your little reading here. So but this is you though. This actually is you, this card. This card isn't you two fighting. This is you fighting yourself. It's your heart and your head fighting each other, and your head is like, dude, you gotta let it go, and your heart's like, fuck you, no. So it kind of feels like you end this week still kind of feeling that way, but at least maybe you can recognize it, right? Moving into that new moon. That new moon should shake things up for you and help you either change your thinking or just help you see the good in letting something go like that. And it doesn't feel like you need to let go of a person. It just feels like you need to let go of a thinking process, which is causing a lot of emotion for you. Wow, Pisces. All right, that's what I have for you, Pisces. Like I said, next week you'll have your very own larger video. This was an experiment this week. Thanks for experimenting with me. I appreciate it. Okay, that's what I have for you guys. I don't think there's anything else. Please like and subscribe. It is super helpful for me. I'm a brand new channel. So I have changed the format of what I originally started doing, which was Monday through a reading for a Monday through Sunday time slot. Now I'm going to be doing the lunar cycles instead, the quarters of the lunar cycles. So for every quarter, right? So anytime there is a quarter moon or a new moon or a full moon, my reading cycle will end with that moon, either the quarter moon or the full moon or the next quarter moon or the new moon will be the end of that week for the reading that I do for you. So anyway, I hope that wasn't too confusing. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like a personal reading, I will be doing those until this channel gets too big. So get them while you can. My email address is below. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.